Good morning, students. Good morning, everybody. I hope you have completed the assignment. And for those of you who could not, because you missed out on the live classes, I am making this video so everybody should be on the same page. So our topic this week is Google Sheets. So let's go to Google Sheets. I have my browser open. So remember, there are a number of ways you can type the URL, or you can search. So you can search the Google Sheet and it'll give you the list, or you can type in the website, which is sheets.google.com. Or if you have your account set up already and you sign in, you click on the Google Apps menu when it opens, and you can just select Google Sheets and it will take you to the Google Sheets main page. And we are going to create a blank Google Sheet. So this is the main menu on top. You can see it have sheets and green paper. That means you are in the right place. Ensure that it's not the blue and it have docs, or yellow and it have slide and forms. Make sure you're in Google Sheets. Okay, that's the main menu. And you'll see the Omni box. That's to search any Google Sheets that you worked on. And you have the Google Apps always on your top right, and your account on your very top right. And then they give you a little box here in the darker shade of gray, where you see the different templates. Templates is, like I explained previous classes, that it is somebody have already designed and put in the formulas and the necessary wording, I guess, and the layouts for you to do different things. So they have different templates, their gradebook, attendance, and so on, and below is all the spreadsheets that you worked on previously and so on, right? But we are going to start with a blank one. The first thing I want you to know is that on top, that's where your menus are, right? So the first thing is the name of your spreadsheet. By default, when you open any document, it will be untitled, right? So firstly, let's name our title. You're just going to click on it and you'll see it's selected in blue. I'm just going to call this exercise 1. Sorry, exercise 1. And you can style right there if it's a document that you're going to be going back and forth every time. Okay. And it's saving automatically. It's saved to drive. You can move the file to the different folders in your Google Drive if you have organized it. And there are different tabs that you can access. You have files, which gives you the different settings and what you can do with the file itself. Then you have the edit. You can undo and redo, and it's the basic. Is pretty similar throughout. Okay, except some of them are specific to the software. So view is how you see. So you can freeze the different rows and so on. But we are not going in depth into how to do all these things as yet. We are going to learn how to use 4 formulas, different formulas, and just to get an idea of how you can use the spreadsheet for your assignments, SBAs, and stuff. Okay, and you have the basic editing commands or elements right there. All right, so in spreadsheet, you are dealing with data in a table format where you can manipulate the data in terms of there are so many you can do, but the basic thing you're going to go through, where you can add, you can subtract, you can do any calculations on it, and you can go further. You can give it a logical value. You can say if whatever answer is higher than, so if I have to give you an example, let's say you are putting in the blood pressure of different patients, and if the blood pressure is higher than 120, you want it to show orange 120 to 140, and let's say if the blood pressure is above 140, you want it to show red. We can set so many different things with once you have the data, there are number of things you can do for you to use the data. Okay, now there are different. So what you see here is a worksheet, and it's going to name it's named sheet 1, and you can rename it by double tapping it. I can just say, well, there. So I'm just going to ex1. Okay, and you can duplicate, which is copy. You can delete it. Now I cannot delete it now because that's the only worksheets I have. You can copy to another spreadsheet, rename it, change the color. So if I put red, you'll see the red strip at the bottom, and so on. And then you can see all you can when you, if you that's to view all the sheets you have. When you hide, especially some of the sheets, and you can add another one. You can see I added one, so let's delete this. All right, well, let's not move away from our topic. So basically it is a table. You have the columns and you have the rows. The columns are named alphabetically, so starting from A all the way to Z, and after Z, if you're still adding more, it will be AA, and then AB, AC, and so on, and from 1 all the way to as many as you want. Okay, so we have columns and rows, and there are boxes in between, as you can see, and every time I select a box, you can see it's highlighted in blue, right? And these boxes, we call them cells. And for you to identify a cell, you are going to say the name of the row, sorry, the name of the column first, and then the number of the row. So for example, this one, and to make it more easier to read, they are actually highlighting the selected cell for you. Okay, so this one will be A1. So this cell is going to be called A1. So if I tell you, I want you to type your name in A1, this is the cell I am talking about, not here because that's A3, or not here because that's B3, right? So let's see if you can tell me what this cell is. What is the name of this cell? Very good. If you said A4, you are correct. Okay? So you to enter data, you just select that cell and you just start typing. Okay? You can and you can press enter to move. You can use the arrow keys. Okay. So let me just delete the data. I selected it and I press delete on my keyboard. In A1, for this exercise, let's say you have a brother called John, and he loves to read comic books, right? Say he has a whole collection of different comic books, and it's downstairs your house, and he's actually opened a library to the children in the community to come and read the books. So but because he's a student and so on, he has work to do. He doesn't open every day. Let's say, I'm just giving you an example, a scenario to see how we can use the spreadsheet. So he opens on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, and so let's name that. So we are going to use spreadsheet to help John to manage his little library better. Okay, so let's call it John's records. Okay, so I type that in A1. Now we are going to make a small table because we need to enter the data and we need to have the proper headings. Okay, so we know what the data is about. So let's going to name the rows first. We want the days and the name of the books. So we can do it anyhow you want, but for my exercise, let's name the rows the books. So what comic books do they have? Batman. Do they have Batman? And then when they have Batman, you must have Superman, right? And what form? What comics they have again? I think there was some cartoon thing called Naruto or something like that that was popular. Naruto. Okay, so 3 is enough for our example. Now that we have named the column, the rows from row 4, so any value I put in 4, row 4 will be concerning Batman, and any value I put in row 5, no matter what column, it should be concerning Superman. And same goes for Naruto, which is in row 6. Okay. Alright, now we are going to leave A3 blank. Starting from B3, let me put in the days. So he's open Friday, he's open Saturday, and he's open Sunday. Okay. So I have named my column. So here we have a table. So let me select. I'm going to start from A3, go all the way to D3, and I'm going to bring it down all the way to the 6th row to select all the data, right? As you can see, and I'm going to bring my cursor all the way up here where you see borders. I'm going to click. There are different options. What I want is all borders, so it's going to put in a border for me all around the cell. So here you go. This is my table. It's easier to see now. All right. I'm just going to take it a step further. I'm going to select the columns, and I want the data to be centered so it's easier to read. Now I'm not worried about it. It kind of looks nicer because by default when you type, because it's left aligned, everything you type it sticks on the left side, like this one, Batman, Superman, everything is on the left, right? And since I changed the alignment to center, it is perfectly centered in the cell. Okay, so what you are going to do is just make up a few numbers. But if you're doing this for like your SBAs and stuff, of course, you shouldn't make up anything. You put in the real fact. But for our exercise, we are going to, let's say Friday, 4 people came to watch Batman, Superman, 6 people, Naruto was popular, so they have 8, and so on. I'm just putting in, oops, yeah, where the numbers are. Alright, so I have the numbers. Now, the what I really what I want you to learn this week is how to use different formulas to manipulate the data, and we are going to look at 4 formulas today. Okay, and the first one is sum. And if you know what the word sum means, it means to add. So let's say Brother John wanted to know how many people this week came to read Batman. They have 4, they have 5, they have 6. So already you can add that in your mind and you will know you're going to get 15. 4 plus 5 is 9, 9 plus 6 is 15. So some of you can just type 15, right? We're going to call it total. Yeah. And You have 6, you have 3, which is 9, and you have 4, which is 13, right? Very good. So you can add and you can put in the numbers, but you may ask, you know, what if there are so many values? We only have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but let's say we are doing it for the whole month. And let's say instead of 3 books, you have hundreds of books in real library, right? And and when you are trying to gather data for your SBAs and stuff, you have hundreds of data that you need to analyze. You are not going to sit down and add each number by itself and then you lose count and you have to start all over again. So there's actually a much simpler way to do that. Because anyway, let's do that first. So sum is add. What we want to do is add. And we don't want to add this number and this number and so on. We want to give it a range. We want to tell them add everything in row 4, right? So we are going to, in this case, we are going to use a formula called sum. So to start any formula, we are going to press the equal sign and you need to type in the keyword, which is sum in our case. And for you to select the range of the values, you are going to place them in brackets, okay? So I'm going to open my bracket, bring my mouse to B4, and I'm going to select everything in row 4. So from B4 to D4, and you can see it right there as you're working on your formula, and you can see it right there too. So in my case, again, it's supposed to be B4 colon means 2, D4. Now you need to make sure when you're selecting the right values. For example, I can have from B4 all the way to D6, or as a matter of fact anywhere I want. So whatever that's selected is going to add all the numbers in that. So in this case, if I have B4 to H17, all where you see that's orange, once I put in the number, is going to add. But this is not what I want. It will give me an error. So I want to add only this value right there, right? And again, I'm not done yet, so do not press enter, because I open my bracket. Once you open bracket, you must close bracket. So this makes the formula complete right now, and it's going to give you a sneak peek of the answer right there. And because the formula is complete, I'm going to press enter. Okay, so I had 15 typed right there, and I have 14 typed here. Only difference is that this 15 is calculated using a formula, while this one I have added it manually and I just put in the number 14. So when I select this cell, you don't see the formula, it's just 14 I type. So let me give you an example why it is important to use the formula. Let's say I made a mistake on Friday. Instead of 4 people, it was actually 3 people who came to read Batman. So when I press 3, when I change the value from 4 to 3, it's supposed to reflect my total, remember? Because the total is addition of all this. So when I press enter, from 15 it turned to 14 automatically. I didn't have to come and change anything. But here, for example, if Saturday I had 3 people reading Superman, but let's say that wasn't true. I made an error and nobody read Superman Saturday. When I press enter, the value I have there does not change. It doesn't truly reflect what I have there. That's because 14 is just a number I put after adding it in my head on my own. That is why I must use a formula. Okay? So I must equal sign, sum, open bracket, put in the values, close bracket, and so on. Now, before I put in the formula, I want to show you a shortcut. So shortcut is a faster way for you to achieve something, Right. So I have my formula on top. But let's say I want to copy the formula down all the way to wherever I want it to stop. In my case, it's just two more. So, I mean, it's not much of work for me to type equal sign, sum, and stuff. But it's very important to know how you can work faster and more efficiently, right? So, you want to select a cell that has the formula that you want to copy. And at the bottom right of the cell, you see a little blue box, right? Now you are going to put your cursor, the mouse, on top of it. Now you will notice the cursor, the shape of the cursor changes from an arrow to a plus sign. That means you are on the right spot. So make sure it's the plus sign. You're going to click and don't drop, but you're going to drag to all the way wherever you want the formula, and you can see it with the dot selected with the dotted lines. In my case, it's just up to row 6. I'm going to drop it, and it's going to copy the formula. Because I go down, the values will go down as well. So let me give you an example. For example, sorry, let me explain what I mean. That's what I wanted to say. In this cell, in E4, what I wanted to do was add B4 to D4 because I wanted to know the total number of people who read Batman. But in this one, it shouldn't be B4 to D4 because that's the number for Batman. I want to know how many people read Superman, which is B5 to D5. Now, because I copied the formula downwards, it automatically changed the B4 to B5 and D4 to D5. And when I click on this one, you will see D6, B6 to D6, right? So that means it's working properly. Some of you, some smart children will ask, but so what if I have a scenario where I do not want the values to move? That's a very valid. If you're asking this question, my goodness, you are right on track. Now they have what you call referencing. They have absolute referencing and partial referencing. We are going to talk about that, but not on this video. So hold on to that thought. Very good. Now our next formula we are going to learn. I'm just going to type all the formulas we're learning so you can actually review it as we go along. Is average. So let's say he's actually having a sitting arrangement where he separate the area with the different book. So one corner of the room is dedicated to Batman, one corner is Superman, and so on. So he wants to know, in average, how many people are reading this, how popular is this book, so he can put in the suitable number of chairs. So let's find that average, and again you want to use a formula. So to start a formula, you start with an, very good, if you said equal sign, you are correct, and the keyword is average, and you are going to open bracket to select the range. Now, I want you to be careful you don't select the range from B4 all the way to E4 because E4 is total and you only want to select B4 to D4, right? And again, it's going to give you a quick peek of what the answer will be. Now, it's not done. Can somebody tell me what I'm missing in the formula? Very good. You are very observant indeed. So once you have the brackets open, you must close the bracket, and that's when the formula is complete. And I'm going to press enter. Now Google Sheets has this suggested autofill feature where when you're doing the one thing, it thinks that you need to do the same thing, it will suggest it for you. You can either choose to ignore it or you can choose to accept the suggestion. So basically it's just going to copy the formula down for you. Now you can do so by pressing the tick right there, or I am using Mac, so it says command, press command and enter on your keyboard, but most of you are Windows, I think it will be control and enter. So I'm just going to press the tick. Now this number has so many decimal places, it's kind of confusing to read. Okay, So I'm going to select the numbers, and when you come to this section on top right here, there's decreased decimal places and there's increased decimal places. In our case, we do not want to increase, we want to decrease, we want to remove the decimal places. So I'm going to tap until I get a number without decimals. Okay, so this looks much simpler to read. Now we are almost done. The average for Batman is 5, Superman is 3, and Naruto is 8. So you can see again Naruto is the most popular one. So let me change Superman, the 0 I had there. Let me change it to 3. Okay? And it's supposed to change the value of my total and average. Let's see if it works. I have 10 for total, 3 for average. So my total changed from 10 to 13 and my average went up from 3 to 4. So that means our formula is working well. Then our next formula is maximum. So let's say he wants to know at which one point that he had the highest number of readers of that specific comic. So we are going to find the highest value for different comic books, right? So the formula, again, it is a formula we are using, so we must start with an equal sign, and the keyword for the highest value in the selected range is max, max. Max, open bracket, you select the range. Again, do not select all the way to F. It starts from B, C, D, and close bracket, and I press enter. Instead I use autofill this time. Let me see if you remember how to copy the formula. You select the cell that has the formula. You go to the right bottom corner where is the little box. You move the cursor until it changes to the plus sign. You select, you click, and you drag down until where you want the formula. So let's see if our answers are correct. So for Batman, the highest number I had was 6. Let's see, 3, 5, 5 is greater than 3, and 6. So 6 is my highest for Batman, and we have 6. Let's do for Naruto. Naruto had 9. So we had 8 Friday, 9 Saturday, which is the greater than the 8, right? And Sunday we had 6. Very good. So it is working. And the last formula, he wants to know the lowest number. Minimum. That is our last formula for today. So to find minimum, your keyword is min. So we're going to start with an equal sign, min, open bracket, and you select the value. And close bracket. Press enter, and I will use the suggested autofill this time. The lowest I had for Batman is 3, and it says 3. The lowest I have for Superman is also 3, it says 3. The lowest I have for Naruto is 6, and it says 6, so that means it is working properly. Very good. Before we go, let's just do one more so it will make it more interesting. Let's say John wants to have an idea of how much people that is coming, that who came for on different days. So instead of the total for each books, he wants a total for each day. Okay, so let's put total right here. So we are going to, I want to add the values for each day. So this time we are not going across, we are going up and down. So it is basically the same thing, but only difference would be the selection of the values. So we are going to press the equal sign to start, and to add, to find the total, what is the keyword? Very good. To add, you are going to use, add a range, you are going to use sum. So open bracket, you select the range, which will be B4 all the way to B6. Close bracket, and you press enter. So the total number of people who visited Friday is 17. We had 3 people watching Batman, 6 people watching Superman, and 8 people watching Naruto. And when you add 3, 6, 8, you get 17. And again, you can copy the formula, but this time, remember, we are not going down. We are not counting the row. We are not adding the rows. We are adding the columns. So when you select, when you press to copy the formula, instead you go down, you are going to go side until it's Sunday. And you can see Saturday I have 17, and Sunday I had 16. Maybe one went to church. Okay, and you can do so to find average, maximum, minimum, anything you want. So you can do the same thing. Okay, so I hope you understood everything that was said on the video. Again, if there is something that you do not understand, you can message me in Google Classroom, send me an email, um, ask your question, let's make it happen. Please complete the assignment on time. Well, it's already out of time by now, but I'll give you an extension so you can complete it. Okay, see you next class.